2020. When this year started, it just started out quite excited. We were very positive. I still remember we were hashtagging 20plenty. And then lockdowns and COVID happened to us and shook us up a little bit, and probably our faith was tested for a little while, especially as entrepreneurs. But I'm excited to see that we are kicking off GEW 2020 positive. I mean, Sam and I are so excited. I think we are competing on who's more excited about this event than I am. And I bet you I'm winning so far, right? Even though this is his event, I'm winning. I would just like to share some housekeeping rules just to make this event a bit smooth for us. So for one, please, just to conserve your own bandwidth, if you switch off your video, then it doesn't affect things like the sound quality and things like that. But look, you're more than welcome to keep your videos on. Please ensure that your audio is mute, and that is just so we don't pick up any of the background noises and pick up any interruptions during the sessions. If you have a question, at the bottom of your screen, there is a chat box. So there's an icon that looks like a speech bubble. If you click on that, you are able to go to the box and just type in your questions. We will get to your questions at the end of the session, so that we don't interrupt the flow of the session. Lucy, I think your microphone is on. But we will get to your questions at the end of the sessions, just so we don't interrupt the flow of each session. If you do have a burning question during the session, you're welcome to send me a message, send Marang or Sam a message specifically in the chat box, and then we'll try and attend to it quickly as possible without interrupting that particular session. But other than that, I hope you do enjoy yourselves. By means of introduction, my name is Marang Marikimane. I will be your host or your program director for the day. I am looking forward to a super duper exciting session. I am looking forward to learning a whole lot, and I hope you are looking forward to that too. And if you aren't, I think you're going to be really finding yourself in really the wrong space. A little bit about this event. So this is the 4th Global Entrepreneurship Week that is organized by 67 CEOs Foundation. The theme for our program this year is about advancing SMME support. So advancing it so that it survives and thrives. So we are not trying to start anymore. We are actually growing with our audience and looking to survive and thrive. And traditionally, GEW is a 1 week in-person event. Given COVID-19 and in the interest of managing any forms of contamination, this year we're completely virtual. As business owners, you will have the opportunity to participate in masterclass sessions on how to effectively implement digital marketing strategies to remain relevant and sustainable. There is a session on digital strategy for your business models and digital access to markets during this week. This is the 3rd consecutive year that we have partnered with Exaro Resources. And a highlight of this partnership is the pitching competition. This year's businesses from Limpopo and Mpumalanga will stand a chance to win their share of 250K in grant funding. So those of you that are operating in Mpumalanga or Limpopo, please make sure that you look out for, you enter this pitch competition and win your share of 200K. We would appreciate it if you could use the hashtags 67CEO GEW 2020, hashtag powering possibility in all your social media posts. It helps to amplify the work that is being done by 67 CEOs. Some of the highlights that we've had from last year's event, and you can tell I'm wearing the t-shirt from last year's event because I want the spirit to continue from then. Last year, we had 400 SMMEs with registered businesses attending the events that were hosted in Lephalale, Limpopo, in Emalahleni in Mpumalanga, and in Centurion, Gauteng. We had 40 CEOs, speakers, mentors, and facilitators who gave keynotes, who participated in panel discussions, conducted masterclasses, and mentored some of the SMMEs. We also had a pitch contest, again, giving away 200,000 in grants for access to market. 70% of the products and services that were procured for the event came from youth-owned and women-owned businesses. Now, if that doesn't speak inclusion for youth and women-owned businesses, I don't know what else would scream any louder. And we closed the series of events with a market day showcasing 15 SMMEs. I am going to now play a video for you that will contain the details of the pitch.
Pitching.
But now I believe you should hear it.
Pitching. Are you an entrepreneur based in Limpopo or Mpumalanga? Do you have what it takes to win a share of 200,000 Rand in grant funding?
Awesome.
Then,
thank you so much.
Register today on www.67ceos.org. Participate in the masterclass sessions on how to effectively implement digital marketing strategy. Submit your 2-minute business pitch video to be one of the 6 winning SMMEs in Limpopo and Mpumalanga only. To be eligible, make sure you participate in the masterclass sessions during the 67 CEOs Global Entrepreneurship Week from 16 to 21 November 2020. Submit your 2-minute business pitch video, which should include your business name, industry, and province of operation, which must be Limpopo or Mpumalanga. The lessons learned from the digital marketing masterclasses, and how you will spend the cash prize for the sustainability of your business. Also ensure that your business is registered, operational for more than 1 year, and have a business bank account with tax compliance. Upload your pitch on all major social media platforms. You know them: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and tag @67CEOs. Don't forget the hashtags. Hashtag 67CEOs GEW 2020 and hashtag powering possibility. Entries will open on the 16th and close on the 20th of November at 4 p.m. The panel of independent adjudicators will announce the winners on the 21st of November and notify them by email. Terms and conditions apply. Hashtag 67CEOs GEW 2020 in partnership with Exaro Resources. Hashtag powering possibility. For inquiries, contact the email below and let the pitch begin.
Awesome. Just to reiterate a correction on the entry dates, you will be able to enter from Wednesday at noon, and the competition will run until Friday at 4 p.m. The competition is open to anyone that is operating in Limpopo and in Mpumalanga. If you have any questions, you may email info@67ceos.org. We will share the link to the video itself because it is available on YouTube. We have about 2 or 3 minutes. It would be interesting to find out who are you? Who's here today? Normally we can see your faces. Today I'm just seeing pictures of you, and some of you have got your videos on. But if you would like to introduce yourselves and tell us who you are, what kind of business you run. This is not the pitch contest, but however, it is a great way for you to engage with us. Tell us what kind of challenges you've experienced, particularly this year. If you want to speak, especially in the context of digital marketing, because that's what we will focus on today. What kind of challenges have you had? You may use the chat box, raise your hand, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak. We would like to find out who is participating with us. I almost said who's in the room. I'm so used to doing this in face-to-face still. But yes, who is in the Zoom room with us? If you can just raise your hand. I see you've raised your hand. Let me give you an opportunity to unmute yourself and tell us more about who you are and your business, please.
Good morning, all. My name is Shongwane, and I'm very privileged to be part of this meeting session. Well, for me, my biggest challenge, I just wanted to speak about my challenge. Mm-hmm. My biggest challenge has been self-belief. My biggest challenge. More than anything, it's been self-belief, fear, procrastination, and also I think maybe the lack of like emotional support. Yeah, but then it's something that I'm working on. One of my mentors, who is Ostineo Molukwani.
She's fantastic.
I know.
She's fantastic. You're in good hands, love.
I believe so. And I'm also working hand in hand with Osma Shlodi. This is all new for me. Like entrepreneurship, it's something that I feel like I was redirected into, like, but it for me, I feel like I've been resisting for too long. And like I've said, my only challenge is self-belief, self-confidence, doubt. Yeah, if I can just get over those hurdles, man, I think I'll be fine.
Oh, you know what? You've done a great service for yourself so far. One, you're working with someone like Osdineo, fantastic people who are great mentors and stuff. This is what we need as entrepreneurs, and this is what 67 CEOs is about, providing that mentorship and that support for entrepreneurship, right? For entrepreneurs. This is a scary task. Being an entrepreneur is a real roller coaster, scary ride. It is not a child's play. It's not Popeye.
It is.
So if there's something that I will tell you and anyone, any entrepreneur that is starting out and feeling doubtful, is something that was said to me years ago. I was told that you do business at the level of self-confidence. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're feeling doubtful and whatever, figure out what is making you feel doubtful. If it is your level of competence in the work that you're doing, educate yourself so improve your competence. If it is a lack of support, engage with other people, grow your network so that you can grow your base for support. So if you understand what it is that is making you feel less confident, it is easier to go solve that problem.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
I do.
Hallelujah, you'll be fine. You will be fine. If you're working with Dineo, I trust you're in good hands. You'll be in shape. In 6 months' time, you will be a different human being. And I hope you engage with us a lot more so that we find out what your journey is. Thanks for sharing that. Kamogelo, you've got your hand raised. Let's hear from you. What have you been up to?
Hi, Sis Marang. My name is Kamogelo Lesabe, and I'm a co-founder and strategy architect for Stained Wines, which is a premium beverage company that is based between the Western Cape and Johannesburg. In terms of the challenges, right, I definitely do resonate with Letlogonolo, especially in this year that we've just been in, right? Business becomes a bit tough, especially in the alcohol industry, given that we've just hit 2 years into the market as well, right? But also, I think what is a bit relevant as well for me to attend in this session or this day is how to be able to position or brand in a technological sense such that you become successful in the era of digitalized kind of commerce. So I'm very excited, even though it is scary, but I think I'm excited for the new leaf that we're about to turn through these sessions.
You did see who's giving today's masterclass, right?
Look here, I'm here for level.
Oh, yes! We are here for level, and we're going to become digital marketing gurus today. I promise you. Level, fantastic. I'm going to take one more just in the interest of time, and that Sam doesn't fire me from doing my job and being too excited on the job. Sandra, you had your hand raised and then you disappeared.
Yes, I thought I saw someone raise their hand before me, so I thought maybe you'll take Kamogelo before.
No, but I just spoke to Kamogelo, so we're on you now.
Yay. Morning, everyone. I hope you are all good. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm just as excited as everyone to learn and actually learning to take the teachings and make them practical. So I also have a startup business that's based in Mpumalanga, and I've read the work that Exaro is doing within the different communities. So when this opportunity came up for the CEOs and the plan that I saw of what's in store for us for the week, I was like, I am jumping on. I want to learn. But more than learning, we've been exposed to so much learning during this lockdown period. And I believe that it's time to put it into action. And I am here for that, to take the lessons from the master classes and really reap something out of it. It's high time that we stop sitting on this knowledge that we are acquiring and put it into action. And what Kamogelo also said is that, when you have a business concept, taking it digital and finding that opportunity or gap in the market for your business to still be relevant in the digital space is something that I need. With us moving away from brick and mortar and physically being there, I want to learn how can I make my business relevant in the digital space as well. Yeah,
fantastic.
That's me in a nutshell.
Sandra, I hope this means that we're going to see your pitch as part of the competition. Oh, please. I'm going to specifically look out for you. Otherwise, I'm going to hunt you down and I'm going to let you know you didn't do your job.
I will do best.
Guys, the chat box is still open. I just need to make sure that we stay on time and then I don't disrespect any of the plans that you have for the rest of the day. So if you want to keep engaging in terms of what is your business, who you are, and the challenges that you have, please put it out in the chat box. I will pick on one or two of you just for commentary as we run along today's session. But please keep engaging. I love it. Share your social media handles. Let's connect with one another. This is exactly where the power of digital marketing is actually us engaging on those digital platforms. Otherwise, it makes a bit of a waste in terms of a resource, right? So last year's masterclasses on the digital skills, I did one especially on digital skills to start your business, and then 67 CEOs set up some websites for those that won prizes from that particular session. Then we start lockdown. We saw a sharp increase in people adopting digital tools, either to manage their teams that were working remotely, but mostly tools to enable e-commerce. Right. And the program for the next few days, like I said earlier, will focus on getting access to markets using those digital tools. We will look at a digitized business model, which Vusi is going to present to us tomorrow. We will look at digital marketing today and get gain access to market using digital tools. So before we get into the master class, I believe we have Ndate Mtenjane speaking on behalf of our partners, Exaro Resources. Ndate Mtenjane is a mining engineer with more than 20 years combined experience in the mining and investment sector. He has also been in the corporate development roles, worked for companies like Anglo Ashanti or Anglo Gold Limited in senior mine management and corporate development roles, respectively. Mzila has also worked for 6 years in investment banking at RMB and Deutsche Bank, and over 6 years as executive business sustainability at Royal Bafokeng Holdings and Royal Bafokeng Platinum before joining Exaro Resources in his current role in May of 2013. Ntate Mtenja, can I hand over to you? Some of the interesting
entrepreneurs with wonderful services and products have limited access to market, and I believe platform like this offers that opportunity
to actually really look at solutions of how they can grow their businesses, how they can get more market access, how they can actually grow and help us grow our economies.
Greetings to entrepreneurs from our host communities during Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020. We expected 2020, but we did not know what it would offer. Ordinarily, we would be hosting this event in Emalahleni and Lephalale municipalities, as we have done for the past 2 years. Also unusual is that Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020 has 4 focus areas this year, instead of 1 focus area. The 4 areas are education, ecosystems, inclusion, and policy. This talks to the importance and urgency with which we need to respond to the situation entrepreneurs find themselves in. 67 CEOs will provide information that talks to these 4 themes, including this session, which is themed Survive and Thrive. Entrepreneurship is about finding sustainable and lucrative solutions to the problems in our society, and therefore requires navigating uncertainty. It was with this thinking in mind that we tailor-made this event for our host provinces. It is also heartening to know that 67 CEOs will be providing other masterclasses and sessions for the rest of the week. I would urge you to take full advantage and attend these sessions. Our partnership with 67 CEOs started in 2018, the same year we approved and implemented an enterprise and supply development strategy. We have always been deliberate in that our host communities should not be left out from events of this nature. Each year we have sold out the events, which talks to your interest in starting and scaling small enterprises. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected every business, with statistics indicating that small enterprises have been the hardest hit. A sustained period of economic devastation will make it harder for small businesses to survive. Exaro experienced the challenges that small enterprises encountered firsthand as some of our ESD beneficiaries' businesses were at risk. Through sharing COVID-19 related information, loan repayment holidays, and funding, we enabled the beneficiaries to resume operations as the lockdown eased. In total, 18.2 million rands worth of support was provided to 18 ESD beneficiaries. This was either in the form of loan repayment holidays of about 13.9 million, or a combination of loan and grant funding worth 4.3 million to enable beneficiaries to resume and scale up operations. While a significant number of small enterprises have taken up relief packages offered by banks and the public sector institutions, more will be needed to prevent a widespread contraction of local economies. Both government and the private sector have a special role to play here. The theme for this year's events, Survive and Thrive, therefore becomes very important. We need to secure small enterprises during these challenging times and position them to succeed in what will be a different world. This positioning includes exploiting opportunities in energy, food, and water to reduce poverty and be less reliant on mining, as it is a finite industry and applying fourth industrial revolution technologies to improve society, create employment, and over the long term reduce unemployment. With challenges comes opportunities, and your businesses need to have the resources and capabilities to exploit the opportunities that will emerge in the new normal. I wish you all a very informative and definitely empowering Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020, and look forward to listening to some of the pitching session recordings you will be sending through. Thank you and have a good day.
We've heard from Exxaro and the work that they've done SMEs with 67 CEOs. They have really been a good partner. They have been probably the most amazing partner if from working with 67 CEOs and Exxaro. They really have done well to support the community of entrepreneurs that engage with 67 Nation. We are going to actually hear from Sam, who is going to tell us more about the events, actually talk about the highlights that we have experienced and witnessed through the work that him and his team have done. Sam, for anyone who doesn't know, he doesn't like to talk about himself much, and he's probably going to just pin me down for actually talking about him person, and his passion and his servitude to entrepreneurship has led him to start businesses that continuously assist us. Those of you that are thinking, wow, I can't pitch, where would I find the skills to pitch? Sam actually set up an organization to pitch. He's assisted those that need to put themselves out there via websites. He's got a company, a team, 67 CEOs as a foundation, and he goes out and he come and bring in their effort, engage with aspirant CEOs. So I'm going to hand over to Sam and work that he has done for entrepreneurs as a whole, particularly in townships. And I must commend you to speak about what you and your foundation have done over the years.
Thank you so much, Marang. You've been an awesome program director, and working with you for the past 3 years, from 2017 when 67 CEO was launched, has been an amazing partnership. Thank you so much. And thank you for your contributions to the development of entrepreneurs in South Africa. I know you do great jobs also on your side and with your team. Once again, I would like to appreciate and welcome every single entrepreneur and SMME owners joining us at the 4th 67 CEOs Global Entrepreneurship Week, the 4th edition. And before I share the screen and also talk about some of the what 67 CEO is about, I would like to send a special appreciation and gratitude to our partner, the only partner for the 67 CEOs Global Entrepreneurship Week, Exxaro Resources. And their mantra is powering possibility. And they've demonstrated that because the organization's mantra, Exxaro Resources, that is not just a motto or a mantra, but it's something that they've demonstrated indeed. They are truly powering possibility for SMMEs, not just in their host communities, but across the nation of South Africa. And they intend to do that also across Africa at large. And once again, thank you very much for joining us today. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see. I hope you guys can see the screen. So 67 CEOs as an organization started in 2017. And our mission is to convince CEOs, business leaders, and subject experts to mentor, educate, inspire, and invest in startup entrepreneurs and SMMEs. And we've been doing that for the past 4 years. The organization was founded in 2017, and formally constituted in 2018. And because of time, I'm just going to rush through some of the impacts that we've been able to make over the past 4 years, or 3 years, I should say. So our launch program actually was Mandela Day 2017. And we did Global Entrepreneurship Week also in 2017, but I'll take the impact from 2018. During Mandela Day 2018, over 100 entrepreneurs and 10 SMME CEOs were in attendance. And part of the things that also happened in 2018 for us as 67 CEOs is during the Global Entrepreneurship Week, which was sponsored by Exaro, over 400 SMMEs attended, and we have 30 CEOs and speakers and mentors, facilitators in attendance. 5 winners, which are SMMEs, were selected and awarded 50,000 Rand grant funding in total. This 50,000 Rand did not come rather from 67 CEOs directly, but rather it was part of the support, financial support that Exaro is offering small business owners. And moving forward, 2019, one of the impact and one of the things that we did, which we're very proud of as an organization, is that we went to local areas, if you like. We went to Lephalale. We started in Mpumalanga in April, and we also were in Lephalale in July 2019. And over 200 SMMEs gathered in that environment. The format is similar to what you are experiencing virtually. Keynotes, masterclasses, and also we did pitching where SMMEs were awarded grant funding also. And so that was local economic development program. And come November 2019, we went back to Lephalale and Mpumalanga, and we did our final road work in Gauteng. Over 400 SMMEs were in attendance. They learned a lot, and we've been receiving a lot of feedback from the SMMEs that attended. 40 CEOs, speakers, mentors, and facilitators were in attendance. Some of the things that we do as 67 CEOs, I should let you know, is we are into mentoring, and CEOs of different organizations, either it's JSE listed or not, they sponsor SMME owners in this mentorship program. 9 winners were selected during Global Entrepreneurship Week 2019. 3 in Lephalale, Limpopo, 3 in Emaraflele in Mpumalanga, 3 in Centurion in Gauteng. And what we did, and 200,000 Rand were granted them as zero equity funding. And what we did over and above awarding grant funding after pitching to the SMMEs is we did a mini pitch fest. What is mini pitch fest? We brought the overall winner from Lephalale, Limpopo to Gauteng. So we did for the overall winner of Emaraflele in Mpumalanga. We brought both of them to go head to head with the winner of of Gauteng, of Centurion Gauteng. And these 3 overall winners then engage and pitch their business to the adjudicators. And the overall winner, which is Smooth, the founders of Smooth Life Smoothie Health Drink, was the winner of 75,000 Rand in the Global 67 CEOs Global Entrepreneurship Group 2019. And you're going to be hearing from Katu, whom is one of the founders of Smooth Life, on Friday. So 2019 happened and we were all excited, we had Christmas 2019 and we were all excited. For those that are believers, a lot of great things were declared, for 2020, and some even call it 20 plenty. And we didn't know that coronavirus, the global pandemic, is going to hit the world. And at this junction, I would like to take a moment to send our condolences to the families and friends of those that lost their lives to coronavirus, COVID-19. Our hearts and prayers go to your family and friends. It is highly, highly unfortunate that you experience the loss of loved ones to this disease. And having said that, we are excited that very soon there will be a vaccine, as we have seen in the news. So 2020 came, and one program that we actually had first in 2020 before the lockdown was the fireside chat with Dr. Snowy Koza. And after that, we did the Mega Pitch Fest. And Mega Pitch Fest was it was 67 CEOs COVID-19 Relief Fund program. And it happened in June, July, which was the 27th of June every year, as announced by the United Nations, is World SMME Day. So you should write this date down. The 27th of June, it's United Nations World SMME Day. So what we took advantage of that, even in the midst of challenges that we were in hard lockdowns. I think around June, we were already in South Africa, we were already in lockdown level 3, if I am correct. And the economy has not opened up as it is now in November. But in the midst of that challenge, or the challenges, which we can identify with SMMEs, because we have been assisting a lot of them, like you heard me saying at the beginning of this speech, since 2017. We know their challenges and we relate to their challenges. And what we did was we flagged off Mega Pitch Fest. It was a virtual event. We asked entrepreneurs to submit their pitch, and we adjudicated the pitch. And from our own little funding, 67 CEO in-house little funding, having discussed with my team, we agreed that we're going to support entrepreneurs that are in need, because one of the cardinal impacts of the COVID-19 was some of the SMMEs could not generate revenue, and businesses were closing, people were closing their shops, not just because of the lockdown restrictions, but because there was no revenue and the business could not survive. So what we did is we did that virtual program, and the SMMEs So we selected 10 SMMEs and we granted them 50,000 rand, 5,000 rand each in cash. And we also sponsor the development of their website. And why is that important? Yes, you can have cash, but you can have cash, buy product or services, however it is, for your business. However, you need a platform to be able to take the product or services to market. And that was the reason why we had to develop or sponsor the development of website for those businesses. And that speaks to the core focus of the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020 also, which is digital marketing. But I will get to that very shortly. So after the Mega Pitch Fest in June, July, we also officially launched our mentorship program, the 67 CEOs mentorship program, and we are currently mentoring 2 young entrepreneurs for the next 6 months. It started in August, and the cohort is sponsored by Dr. Snowy Koza, the group CEO of Begin. And you actually heard from one of the beneficiaries of that mentorship program earlier when Marang was taking Q&A. So we're here now, Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020, advancing SMME support, survive and thrive. Why advancing SMME support? Because before 2020, 67 CEOs and other ecosystem enablers have been supporting SMMEs. But this year, it is very critical because of the impact of global pandemic COVID-19 and the outbreak thereof. And the lockdown, the economic and social and environmental lockdown specifically. The truth of the matter is, with what we've seen, some businesses, small businesses, and medium-scale businesses also, maybe not large businesses, they've closed shop and some of them might not come back again. One, because they could not generate revenue, and two, because their businesses are disrupted because of lack of, technology to be able to take their product or services to market. So again, most businesses lost revenue due to lockdown. Business models are changing in the world of new normal. Business models are changing. So we thought we're going to focus on digital marketing and how you can pivot your business so that you can survive the impact of COVID-19 and then thrive beyond it, because that is very, very important for your business to thrive. So these are some of the changes required to survive, remain relevant, and thrive beyond the impact of COVID-19. We, as 67 CEOs, our mandate is to support SMMEs. And we do that with our partnerships with corporate organizations through their Enterprise Development Fund or SPEND. And we also convince CEOs to mentor where it is needed and where they cannot, where CEOs cannot physically or possibly mentor SMMEs. They sponsor the mentorship program. And I mentioned earlier that one is being currently sponsored by Dr. Snowy Koza of Begin Group. And so, as we are experiencing, the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020 is virtual. It would have been great to, physically be together, but you know why we are here now. So we've seen a lot of registration and a lot of us have gathered here now. I would like to re-emphasize something that our Honorable Program Director mentioned earlier, Marang, that so SMMEs across South Africa are gathered here, across South Africa, irrespective of the province. However, because of certain conditions and in collaboration or agreements with the sponsor, Exaro Resources, or the partner, Exaro Resources, we could only allow SMMEs in Limpopo and Mpumalanga to pitch their business. And the reason for this is because Exaro wants to focus their spend on their host communities where they have their mining, their mines, which are in Limpopo and Mpumalanga. So today there will be masterclass. Tomorrow there will be masterclass. On Wednesday, the 18th, we encourage the SMMEs among us in Limpopo and Mpumalanga to start submitting their pitch online. You will record a 2-minute pitch and post it on your personal or business profile. You should have a social media business profile for your business if you don't. And tag 67 CEOs either on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or Instagram, if I've not mentioned that. And use the hashtag 67 CEOs GEW 2020 and hashtag powering possibility. You can see that on the screen below there. And learn and have fun during 67 CEOs Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020. I thank you, SMMEs across South Africa, for joining us. And once again, we're very grateful for the partnership with Exaro Resources for making this happen. Thank you so much, guys.
I don't know if you have noticed who is amongst us. Our class facilitator has stepped into the session. I hope we are ready to tackle all our anxieties. Ladies and gents, I think we are about ready to start our session with Lebo. She is here to give us a session on digital marketing. Lebo is someone that nurtures and accelerates the growth of African startups and SMEs using digital marketing tools and strategies. She helps business owners, professionals, and marketing industry leaders to enhance perspective on subjects such as social selling, influencer marketing, and social media. So those of you that are interested in how to use social influencers into your businesses, this could be this is some perfect person to engage with on the topic. She also assists people on enhancing the power of building communities online and creating African narratives for Africans. So I'm quite excited to sit in on the session with Lebo. I think from what you guys have been saying about your challenges regarding digital marketing and actually transitioning into a digitized environment, she is pretty much the key person that will help you in this regard. Please engage with her, Lebo. If you're ready, I'm going to hand over to you. So I'm going to take it as a thumbs up. You're good?
Hi, yes, good.
Fantastic.
Can everyone
over
hear
to
me?
you.
Great. Hi, everyone. Happy Entrepreneurship Week. Yes, we're going to make this a week of elevation of knowledge, and I'm honored to be starting off the festivities for 67 CEOs. Okay, my name is Lebo Line, innovation strategist, digital marketer, and podcasting pioneer. This is how to use marketing, technology, and strategy to thrive in a digital world. I've helped and worked with over thousands of brands and businesses, most of whom, I'm proud to say, survived COVID with their businesses intact. And we'll talk about this a little bit further in the conversation. But for now, I want to share a fun fact with you. Did you know that lockdown is the word of the year for 2020? So according to Collins Dictionary, lockdown is the word of the year for 2020. Lockdown is defined by Collins as the imposition of stringent restrictions on travel, social interaction, and access to public spaces. And its usage has boomed over the last year. The 4.5 billion word Collins corpus, which contains written material from websites, books, and newspapers, as well as spoken material from radio, television, and conversations, registered a 6,000% increase in its usage. In 2019, there were 4,000 recorded instances of a lockdown being used. And in 2020, this has soared to more than 250,000. And I think that we can all agree that lockdown is an uncomfortable state, and nobody wants to be in lockdown. And yet, it's one of the most used words of 2020. And I want you to think about this as we go through the conversation, because this is very important. And some of the other top 10 words in the Collins Dictionary list are social distancing, self-isolate, which is, I think, a great word, TikToker, furlough, and coronavirus. I think all of us can relate, and we've used these words a lot of times in the past year. So if we had to put the 2020 experience in a few short sentences based on the words from Collins Dictionary, it would read a little something like this. People were encouraged to isolate themselves from others, share snapshots of their lived frustrations in quick short videos on social media, all in an effort to stop the spread of a disease that has no cure. Oh, and by the way, they're doing all of this with their jobs and incomes under threat. Sounds a bit accurate, doesn't it? I think so. I think this is a great representation of the year that is 2020. And let's bring it into perspective. This means that for the majority of 2020, we as a society spoke about the things that are unpleasant to us. We had more conversations about the things that were unpleasant to us, and we expressed our pain and discomfort than our joy and our fulfillment. For most people, this is a bleak picture. But when I look at this, I see a story, barring a few changes, that could have been written for the Great Depression, a story that could have been written for the stock market crash of 2008, a story that could have been written for the Industrial Revolution. And in all of these stories, there's a common theme, a theme of change and uncertainty, and most importantly, a theme of opportunity. As a marketer, I'm constantly studying society and the economy to find the links, the disconnects, essentially the opportunities that are available for us to capitalize on as business people, as professionals, as scholars. And for me to be able to do that, two things have to be my foundation of truth. One, change and uncertainty are the only thing. And two, opportunities exist in all conditions of history. And I think that's a truth that many of us don't want to acknowledge, isn't it? That opportunities exist in all conditions of history. And let's bring these truths down to real life business examples. Let's use Uber as our example. Could the taxi industry have predicted that Uber would disrupt the way that they do business? No, that's change. Will Uber continue to dominate the taxi transportation industry in the future? We don't know. That's uncertainty. Can new participants disrupt the way that Uber does business? Absolutely. And those are opportunities. And we can even apply it to our paragraph that we wrote that shaped 2020. I can identify at least 5 opportunities for new and existing businesses. Would you believe me if I said that? Well, let's give it a try. People were restricted from doing what they want. So the problem here is that people can't participate in the activities that they always participate in, like going to the movies or the gym. A possible solution is creating online workout classes if you're a personal trainer, for example, or creating a Netflix movie experience for people who are watching movies from home. Our second sentence, encourage to isolate themselves from others. The problem here is that people can't get the human interaction that they used to, which could create feelings of loneliness and isolation. A possible solution, if you were, let's say, an events company, is to create online concerts. Or if you're a book club, you could have online book clubs. Offer the market solutions that help them feel less alone. Our third sentence is share snapshots of their live frustrations in quick, short videos on social media. When I see this line, I see marketing opportunities. If you sell products online, you could create video-centric digital marketing campaigns and collaborate with TikTokers. If you are a media house or an entertainer, you could create short stories for your audience that they could view on a daily basis. Our next sentence is, all in an effort to stop the spread of a disease that has no cure. The problem that I see from this sentence is uncertainty. When people live in uncertainty, they often find themselves dealing with mental illness challenges. A possible solution for, let's say, a psychologist is to offer online therapy sessions. Oh, and by the way, which is our last sentence, they're doing all of this with their jobs and income under threat. What this sentence highlights to me is that COVID and lockdown are a time where there's a lot of price sensitivity, It's a time when companies who are offering lower costing products, they're more likely to succeed. It's the time when people are looking for price deals because they don't have as much money to spend as they used to have. And voila, the solutions that I've identified are solutions that I just came up with now from the top of my head. And imagine the incredible solutions we could come up with if we actually sat with these sentences and really tried to identify real solutions. I hope that as we were going through this exercise, that you were able to plug your business into these sentences and ask yourself, what is my business offering? How does it address one of these problems? And how do I communicate this? And further on in this presentation, we'll talk about the Psso Framework that helps you answer these questions to help you make your business commercially viable on digital platforms. Colleagues, fellow entrepreneurs, scholars, friends, I know that lockdown has been a devastating time for all of us. And I know that you don't want to hear this right now, but I think we can turn it around. I need you to open your hearts and your minds to the idea that you are bigger than this singular event in history, and that hidden in the rubble of 2020 are the tools we need to build innovative business models. It's not over. In fact, the party has just begun. What I want us to keep at the back of our minds throughout this entire presentation is think different. Think different, which also happens to be the iconic slogan of an equally iconic brand, Apple. It was this slogan and ad campaign of 1997 that propelled Apple from being a company that sells computers to a brand that represents creativity and innovation at its best. When you allow yourself to think different, you open yourself up to the myriad of opportunities that exist for your business. And you give yourself the permission to create innovative business models and produce creative and brave digital marketing campaigns. And let me show you what I mean.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Brilliant ad, isn't it? It's actually one of my favorite adverts of all time. I think this is going to be our theme for today. Think different. I want us to maintain this energy as we go through the presentation, because you won't be able to ride the wave of digital disruption if you're not willing to think different. Think different. Think different. Our journey for this morning is going to start with digital marketing. And once we have a decent understanding of that, we'll use it to design innovative business models. Digital marketing, a phrase that we have been hearing a lot of during COVID. A new McKinsey report shows that nearly all organizations, whether traditional companies or startups, are reorientating their business models to be more digital as a direct result of the impact of COVID-19 on changing consumer behaviors. But what is digital marketing? Before we can answer that question, we need to understand what marketing is, because marketing is the foundation of it all. If you don't know what marketing is, you cannot understand what digital marketing is. Simply put, marketing is the process of creating and delivering value to the end user. Creating and delivering value to the end user. And we use the marketing mix, which is comprised of product, price, place, and promotion. That's the foundation. We could extend this, but for today, we're going to look at the foundation of the marketing mix, which is product, price, place, and promotion to make it happen. Digital marketing is therefore an overarching term that encompasses all types of online marketing. And digital marketing can also extend to things like SMS, television, and radio, which we won't be covering in this presentation, but I need you to keep your mind open to that when you create a digital marketing strategy, you can also extend it to things like SMS, television, and radio. Now, what we need to understand is that the core of marketing exists between two axes, an axis of value and uniqueness. That's what we use to determine whether our businesses have a meaningful existence or not. And in order to assess the marketing value of our products and services, we're going to use a 2x2 matrix centered around value and uniqueness. Remember, uniqueness does not mean new. Uniqueness means differentiated. And differentiated means how easily a product or service occupies its own space in the buyer's mind. So let's go through this matrix. We've got uniqueness over here and we've got value over there. We've got on the top left-hand side, we've got a product that's not very unique, that's very unique, but it's got very little value. And you're seeing here, it's actually shoes that have umbrellas on them. Somebody decided to invent shoes that have umbrellas on them in case it rains. It's obviously a ridiculous invention, and it won't be something that's bought by people or be very successful. So it's highly unique, but it's not very valuable. And that's just a product that will never work. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got a product that's not very unique and not very valuable. And you can see in this picture, we've got an onion cutter. It's literally a fork-like device that goes into your onion, and then you use your knife to cut. Absolutely ridiculous invention. Nobody's going to care about it. And we've already got knives. We do not need onion cutters like this. Then we move to the bottom right of our matrix, and you see money. So these are products that are not very unique, but they're very valuable. Things like toilet paper, So when you have a product like that, you have to compete on price. That's what people are going to be looking for. But where you really want to be with your business is in that top right-hand quadrant, where you create a brand that's very unique and very valuable. And I think the best representation of this is Apple. Remember, the key to all of innovation and marketing is the creation of unique value. And remember that unique does not mean new, it just means differentiated. It occupies a special place in the consumer's mind. Marketers have, over time, developed a digital marketing mix to help you design effective digital marketing strategies that encompass uniqueness and value. And it comprises of the foundations of our marketing mix, which are product or commodity, price or cost, place or channel, promotion or communication. Understanding how to leverage the strengths of each promotional mix item to suit your unique business needs is the key to creating a successful digital marketing strategy. And we'll dive into the digital marketing mix further on in this conversation. I'm sure some of you are sitting in the crowd and thinking, yeah, I've heard this before, but it doesn't work. Or my business has tried to use digital marketing, but it hasn't worked. I love hearing people say things like this. And I want us to zero in on at least 5 myths about digital marketing that are creating a barrier to your success. We need to talk about these myths. The first digital marketing myth is that digital marketing only works for certain kinds of businesses. The truth is that digital marketing can work for any kind of business. Digital marketing works when you have a strategic drive and the digital maturity to understand how it works. And digital maturity just means how well versed you are at using digital tools. What most companies do is use, let's say, a clothing brand strategy to amplify a mining company's digital marketing strategy. And this won't work. You have to create a unique digital marketing strategy for the kind of business that you're working with. The second myth with digital marketing is that digital marketing is social media and it's only on social media. The truth is that digital marketing comprises of a myriad of tools such as email, SEO, SEM, websites, social media, digital billboards, and the list goes on. There's a wide mix of digital marketing tools at a company's disposal. The third myth, and I think this is one that people use a lot as an excuse, is that South African people cannot afford the data that's needed to participate online. The truth is that South Africa currently has a population of 58.93 million people, and there's a 62% internet penetration rate in South Africa, meaning that there are over 36.5 million internet users, which is a 3.1% year-on-year increase, right? And of all of these people, over 22 million of them are active social media users. This means that there's a significant portion of the South African market that's already online. So we can't rely on this idea that South African people don't have access to the online space and therefore you do not need a digital marketing strategy. That's absolutely false. The fourth myth is that digital marketing is influencer marketing. The simple answer to this is no, just no. Influencer marketing relates to the part of marketing that's concerned with using influencers, whether that's celebrities, thought leaders, social media influencers, etc., to amplify a brand or help a brand move more units of its product. The fifth myth is that the online space is for young people who don't have money to spend. And I've also seen that a lot of South African companies really love to rely on this age thing about social media. And this is false. The online community is a diverse one. The different digital tools that you employ to achieve your marketing objectives will determine which age group you speak to. Your copyright, which is basically the words that you would use on your poster, your captions, anything that's written that you use to promote your business, allows you to reach different kinds of people and people of different ages. So there are different kinds of people and communities that exist online. It's a vibrant and a diverse space. And so we should leverage from that diversity. And I think that this advert that I'm about to play from you, which is the Vodacom Slap Tiger ad, accurately portrays the danger in undermining the online space.
Sam, you must see what I wore to that event last week. Is your network a slap tiger? Slap tiger! I don't understand. These issues in Houghton. What issues in Houghton? Too much of signal. Hashtag jealous. Don't blame Slapstart. Blame Slap Tiger. Slap Tiger? You know what else knows?
Change the game on South Africa's best network. Vodacom, power to you.
So what I love about this Vodacom advert is that it's asking a critical question. Is your online connection a slap tiger? And I'd like to extend this to businesses and ask, is your digital marketing a slap tiger? Are you placing less importance and investing little to no resources in your digital marketing strategy because you have a firm belief that it doesn't work? Even though listed companies like Vodacom are telling you that your customers are online. Is your digital marketing a slop tiger? We really need to take digital marketing seriously as African business people. And I think the reason why digital marketing hasn't worked for so many African businesses is because people think that at the core of digital marketing success is technology, that technology is the foundation and the core of digital marketing success, when the true core of digital marketing actually lies in the customer. It's not about fancy apps. It's not about impressive websites. It's not even about high-end technology. It's just about people. Digital marketing is all about having a deep understanding of the customer, and it has all the tools embedded within it to extract information about the customer in ways that traditional commerce simply cannot. We're talking about search engine optimization. We're talking about your metrics. We're talking about listening tools, right? And through digital marketing, you can track your customer's purchasing experience from the moment it begins through to the actual purchase, straight to consumption, and the customer's perception of the entire experience. This is powerful. You could never do this before in history. It was never possible. And when used correctly, digital marketing gives you the power to be a business that is global and has a global. Take it even further. Digital marketing gives you a qualitative story of the quantitative customer data that you extract from day-to-day operation. And what's the lesson here? Always put the customer at the center of your digital marketing strategies. It's a people-first kind of game. Your concern, therefore, as a business owner is not sales, but customer behavior. Understanding how customers behave online and knowing how to leverage from it on digital platforms is the key to unlocking sales and loyal customers. So where do we start with digital marketing? Traditionally, organizations would conduct business in this way. They believe that they have a great product and then they try to take it to the public. They try to market it to the public. However, this strategy does not put the end user first, the person first. And in order to put the customer first, organizations need to ask themselves the fundamental question: do people even want this? Do people need this? It's far more practical to identify and satisfy rather than to develop a product and hope it will work. I hope people are hearing me. This is very important. It's far more practical to identify and satisfy rather than develop a product and hope it will work. It's estimated that 80% of all new businesses fail. And the biggest reason for the failure is a lack of understanding of demand from the end user. New businesses do not understand their customers. And so it contributes to their failure because the person, the customer, the people are at the core and foundation of why we do business. So how do we create businesses that add value to the customer's life? How do we create products that the customer wants? And how do we do this digitally? Let's use the digital marketing mix that we spoke about earlier to do this, right? So as you can see in this picture, we've got the digital marketing mix that's comprised of the foundations of digital marketing mix, which is product, price, promotion, and place. So let's start with the product. First, we have to assess whether our offering is commercially viable for selling online and commercially viable for online consumption. And this is important because people exist online differently to how they exist in the real world. We assess whether our product or service is commercially viable by using a Psso framework that looks a little something like this. The Psso framework is basically a composition of problem, statistics, solution, and offering to assess whether your product or service is commercially viable. The problem is basically what exists in the world, what problem exists in the world that you're trying to solve. The statistic is a statistic that you find that proves and supports your problem. The solution is all of the solutions that exist in the market, and the offering is how does your product or service fix the problem? How does it contribute to fixing the problem? The Psso framework is great, and it's a very quick tool that business people can use because it helps you identify whether your offering is commercially viable. So if your product or service is not addressing a need or a want in the market, it doesn't have value and people won't care about it. And the problem that you address does not have to be severe. It can be small. It can be something like women with dark skin can't find lipstick shades that complement their skin tone. So your business could be solving that problem, you know? The second thing that the PSSP framework or PSSO framework helps you do is it helps you identify gaps in your strategies. Have you thought through your intentions in starting this business? Do they align with the market in the current state of society, or are you just taking chances? I know that during lockdown, a couple of brands actually had to change even their logos and their mottos because they weren't socially relevant for the time that is COVID. So KFC, for example, changed their finger licking good because, you know, social distancing, we can't share food, we can't touch things without sanitizing our hands, etc. So they had to change their campaign so they're not using finger licking good anymore. And that allowed them to succeed more online in their digital strategies. Another thing that the PSSO framework helps you do is it helps you identify who your competitors are and what the market looks like. By making yourself aware of the solutions that are available to the market, you're forced to be aware of your possible competition in the market, right? So if you saying your solution is fried chicken and you are Tando's fried chicken, you also have to acknowledge in this process that KFC is your competitor, Chicken Licken is your competitor, and this is very important. In doing this, you can determine more accurately where you fit into the market, and you can create messaging and communication that actually works and that penetrates and reaches the right customer. The PSSO framework also helps you have an idea of who your customer would be, because in the process of figuring out whether you're commercially viable, you have to think about who you're solving the problem for. And in doing that, you'll be able to create digital marketing campaigns that actually address the right people instead of just guessing who your customer online would be. And the PSSO framework also helps you position your product in the correct environment online. When you know who your market is, and the process of investigating where they live online and where they participate online becomes much easier because you understand what their problem is. You know what the statistics are about that market. So you can even find the communities that are talking about these problems or communities that are offering these solutions. So you can actually understand where you can find your customer online and where you fit in online. So please write this thing down. It's very simple. You can use it as you're creating your digital marketing campaigns. It always works. For all the businesses I've worked with, this PSSO framework always works. The second part of our digital marketing framework is price. Contrary to popular belief, pricing is a psychological experience for people. As a business, you need to focus on communicating the value of your product over the cost of your product. You can do this by answering a very simple question. What's in it for the customer? Because that's the question that the customer is asking themselves. What's in it for me? Answering this question is going to rely on your content strategy and how effectively you communicate with your customers. The rule of thumb that I've often used with various clients, especially on their e-commerce stores and their Instagram accounts, is the following. Features tell and benefits sell. Features tell and benefits sell. How you communicate your online value proposition to customers matters. The online value proposition is your unique selling point online. It's important to clearly communicate what online experiences and content your brand can offer for each site, app, platform that your market will be on. If your company's site does not live up to the online value proposition, new visitor expectations will not be met, and they will be likely to not come back. Loyal customers might leave, and you probably not work over the long term. It's better to over-deliver on the online value proposition than under-deliver against promises you can't keep. Remember that you generally have only one opportunity to impress. And to further communicate this idea of benefits sell and features tell, we have this really cool and simple illustration of an iPod. You know, the features here are it has storage for 1 gigabyte of storage, and you can see those are the features. But the benefits is that you can save 1,000 songs in your pocket. People want to know how this benefits their lives. They don't necessarily want to know how the device works, but you can extend this conversation once you've grabbed their attention with the benefits. And I also want to use this King Price ad that appeals to how we communicate the benefits of what we sell to our customers.
What are you doing?
You said if I wanted to do business with you, I have to become a vendor.
When others don't make sense, we do.
I love this ad by King Price. And I think they're appealing to how hard it can be to navigate through the world, how complicated it is to do business. And they're appealing to how frustrated and confused most people feel when they're dealing with financial matters. As a financial services provider, they're saying, we can make it easy for you. When others don't make sense, we do. I think this is brilliant. The benefit of using King Price is that they simplify everything for you, which is also a lesson we can take into how we should communicate our promotional material to our customers. Let them talk about the benefits. Tell them about the benefits and not about the features. If there's one thing that you remember about price in this talk, it's that when you communicate value to your customer, you're not just justifying price. You're actually intensifying the customer's overriding desire to consume what you offer. They need to have an unshakable belief that the need or want that you're offering is being met and satisfied by your product or service. It's not about how much the product costs, it's about how it makes them feel and how it can benefit them. So that's very important for us to know as business owners. The third promotional mix item is promotion, right? The promotion element of our digital marketing mix is all about how we communicate our offering to the market in order to get them to see us and buy from us. Content marketing and pay-per-click advertising are a couple of examples of digital marketing promotion. Many businesses and brands also rely on the very controversial influencer marketing to promote their products online. Anybody who follows me online knows that I love influencer marketing, and I really believe that businesses should be using influencer marketing. When you create digital promotion strategies online, they have to be three things. They have to be considered and they have to be authentic. So you can't just create promotional material that you think will work. You have to think about how the customer is going to read it. You have to think about where the customer will be consuming this message. You have to think about the platform. You have to think about if it's true to your business and if it's true to the customer who you're trying to get. Simply working with popular influencers who have a lot of followers will not get the results that you seek. And it's important to create meaningful and impactful campaigns with your influencers in order to gain the attention that you desire from your customers. And you also have to have the appropriate copyright, which is just any written real estate that you have online. Anything you write, whether it's a caption, whether it's anything on your poster, you need to have the appropriate copyright for your audience so you can get the right people's attention. And your digital marketing promotion has to be clear. It has to be very clear. The customer must see themselves in what you're trying to promote. A beautiful statistic from a leading digital marketing company highlights how for every $1 that businesses spend on influencer marketing, you can expect an average return of $18. That's 1,800% return if you use influencer marketing appropriately. So I really do encourage small business owners to use influencer marketing and to use it with consideration because they can get much higher returns from it at a lower cost than if they had to pursue traditional methods of promoting their brands. The fourth digital marketing mix, and our last one, is place. And on the digital sphere, that would be your digital channels, right? When business owners and organizations think of digital marketing, they often think of the channel first before they think of the strategy. Digital marketing channels are the platforms and the tools that we use to execute our digital marketing strategies and reach the end user. I like to extend the explanation of digital marketing channels to your digital storefront, your office, your event venue. It's the place where your customers can consume your offering as well. Platforms and tools such as email marketing, content marketing, your blog, your e-commerce store, your social media pages are all examples of digital marketing channels. And a fun fact is that most people don't know that digital marketing also extends to the non-internet mediums, like your SMS, your television, and your radio, which we spoke about a little bit earlier in our presentation. And I think you can follow me on my social media platforms to get an in-depth conversation about that. But for the purposes of this conversation, we're just going to focus on the online tools that are available to us. The trick with digital marketing channels is to understand that they require your strategic input in order for them to work. You can't just choose a channel and say it's going to work because customer is. You have to think about your selling appropriate for the market that you're in. A channel has no value without strategic intent. The strategic intent has to encompass the entire value chain and marketing objectives. Most importantly, because channels help you reach the customer in the most optimal way for your strategy, we need to acknowledge the critical value of communication. Good communication is what converts channel efforts into customer engagement, into customer purchasing, into customer action, and we want our customers to act. That's the point of why we create digital marketing campaigns and strategies. Marketing channels can replace or complement. Your e-commerce store can either replace your normal storefront or it can support, can also help you manage traffic store. You know, it's small things like that that allow you to manage where you want to divert traffic from your customers and where you want to divert attention. Let me show you a clever Dutch online stores ad about how they communicate the value of shopping online and the value of their customer experience.
Darf ich kurz? Eigentlich nicht, nein, es ist meins. Nee.
So I think that a lot of small businesses have to consider whether it makes more sense for them to trade online or if it makes more sense for them to have a brick and mortar store, if it makes more sense for them to have both. I always recommend that businesses have both so that you can reach a wider customer base. What does the future look like? We've spoken about the digital marketing mix, and we've spoken about all the components of the mix and how you can use them. So what does the future look like? How do we navigate through a new normal? We think different. We adapt. We ingrain technology and digital strategy into our company culture. And for those small businesses out there, we start to think big and we play big. Technology is the greatest equalizer of our time. And let's use it to compete, use it to differentiate ourselves. Let's use it to be seen by the right people. And remember that in the digital world, the customer is at the heart of everything we do. It's not about fancy technology. It's not about flashy adverts. It's all about the people. So in closing, I only have one question for you. Are you ready to be one of the few and daring crazy ones? Thank you.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That was quite informative, and I hope everyone found it as informative as I did. Are there any questions? There is some comments here. Yep, round of applause all round in the chat box. If you have any questions, please just raise your hand and then I'll give you an opportunity to ask the question and for Lebo to answer. Even any comments are quite useful. I know Lebo values feedback, so she'll appreciate getting feedback as well. Please do raise your hand. Mandilake, I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. You have your hand raised. What would you like to say as input for us or question?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, you pronunciated my name 100%. Yes, you said my name correctly. Thank you for that. To Lebo, thank you for the presentation. The PSSO was something that I've never heard about before. Super informative. It's a fantastic tool that I'm going to use going forward. I do have two questions, though. Right. And the first question is around how digital marketing creates value. I'm still not fully understanding how those two kind of link together. because from my understanding, it's the product or the service that you are providing creates the value, and the marketing simply illuminates the value that you've created from the product or the service. So if you could help me understand that better, that would be awesome. And the second question is around the influencer marketing, where you were saying $1 translates to $18. Is there a South African study that's been done around that to show the South African numbers? Because as you said, the penetration is lower than what would be in the other markets. So I just want to understand around that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your question, Mandilake. And I think the one that you asked about marketing is very important, because people ask me that question all the time on Twitter. I've even actually written a thread about that, about how marketing creates value. I think what people don't understand is when they think of marketing, especially business owners, they're just thinking of the posters that you see, the social media influencing. They're not thinking of the entire marketing value chain, right? So when we're talking about, let's say, product, there are marketers whose job is just to come up with the products that people need. So I'm not responsible for promoting the product. I'm not responsible for pricing the product. I'm just responsible for product conceptualization and coming up with the product. There's so many different things that marketers do to make a product have value to the customer. And most people don't understand that, because when you're a startup, for example, you're the one who comes up with the product. You're the one who comes up with everything. So you don't think of that as, oh, I'm actually doing marketing right now. You're thinking, oh, I'm doing business right now. But actually, that is marketing. So really intelligent businesses that have a big budget would usually hire marketers to help them come up with the product from the beginning, because they understand that this person would create the product or the service based on the overriding objectives that the company would have, which is basically to add value to the end user. So some marketers could create the product. Another marketer could say, okay, now that we've created it this way, we have to price it like this so that people can see it this way and buy it in this manner. Small things like how products are placed inside stores. People don't know that that's marketing. There are marketers whose job it is just to go to the store and make sure that their product is on the third shelf of aisle 6. And in that aisle, when people walk past it around 2 till 4 p.m., that's when they're most likely to see the product, because it's under a darker product or a lighter product. So there's a lot that goes into marketing that I don't think people actually understand. And when they think of marketing, they just think of advertising or they think about promotion. And while that is valid, it's not the entire marketing chain. And then in terms of influencer marketing, the interesting thing about influencer marketing is actually that you find that with South African companies, I was on a panel where we were talking about the social media landscape in South Africa. And one thing that came out from the research from that report is that corporates and businesses don't really know how to use social media. So what they do is the social media platform that they use in their businesses will be determined by the social media platform that the marketing manager, whoever's in charge, is comfortable using, right? So they don't actually know how to create the marketing strategy because they're afraid of what digital actually looks like and how it can be used. And so a lot of them who are interested in it will use agencies to help them drive this. But South African agencies also are struggling. They don't actually know how to create effective digital marketing campaigns because they don't understand the landscape properly. But what we also saw is that with the few companies who actually got it right, they were able to achieve more than what people thought could be achieved online. So if their objective was to get 10 units sold, they got 25 units sold, So I think with the South African landscape and the African landscape at large, we're still in our infancy in terms of influencer marketing and having accurate data, because you'll find that even with some reports that you see that say they're South African, they'll only measure LSM 7 to 10, and that's not an accurate measurement of the entire market. So it really is in its infancy. We're still trying to figure it out. But I could say that for every, let's say, 1 rand, you can get 8 rand back in terms of your marketing spend in South Africa. I would bet on that.
Thank you.
What I want to ask is, especially from Lebo, we really appreciate the information that you just given us. It's very, very informative. However, I just want to ask, because we have different natures of businesses. Some businesses, they focusing their products, they're more likely to be relatable on social media and all these digital platforms. And other businesses, they are more likely to need you to be in that place. Like for my business, where I actually help people in rural areas to be in the entertainment industry, modeling, singing, and acting.
Hello.
So now my business, it requires me, because in those rural areas, it's actually even hard for those people to even have access to internet. They don't even have digital platforms. They know nothing of those kind. So usually what we did before lockdown, we would go to them and present all these things and try to make it possible for them to actually incorporate in this industry. So now lockdown came, and then now Lebo also came and saying, now we need to think differently. Now I'm asking myself, how exactly will now, yes, I have to incorporate this thing digitally. How will I do it? Because here is the challenge. They don't even have access to a simple network, just to a network service provider. They don't have. The only way it is to go to them and introduce this thing. Now, how do I infiltrate my services to this digital world? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Sihle. And I just want to confirm, so you help artists in rural areas get exposure? Is that what you do?
Yes.
Okay, and this is music people or all kinds of art?
It's all talent, music, acting, modeling, and dancing.
Okay. So thank you for your question. And I think it's a great question because a lot of African entrepreneurs obviously will face that challenge. And what I always say to business people is you have to decide what you want to use your digital channels for, right? So not everybody has a business where their direct customer can buy from, but they can definitely find other stakeholders in their value chain who would they be able to reach on with digital channels, right? So for example, I'm sure that what you're doing needs financial backing. You know, you'd be happy if brands were to say, hey, Sihle, we'll give you money so that you can help these artists be seen, right? So how do you get those brands to see you? How do you get those corporates and investors to see you? What you do, since you're the owner of the movement and you've got a phone and you've got digital platforms, what you do is you record their talent. You show your people singing and dancing. You show them, you show their artwork, you show their beading, you show all of that to showcase to other stakeholders like investors, like brands, what they can buy or what they can get from working with you and your movement. So your digital platforms don't always have to be directly to the person who you're helping. It can be to other stakeholders who can help you help the people that you're helping, you know, and that's what I use my digital marketing, my digital channels for. I use them to reach stakeholders. I don't use them to necessarily get my direct audience to buy from me. So there are different ways that you can use your digital channels, and you just have to have the strategy, which is why I kept saying in my presentation, strategy is everything, you know, because when you create a strategy, you're able to see who is my customer online. Yes, my customer on the ground are the artists, but my customer online are the stakeholders who can put money into my business so that and showcase these artists or give them the tools that they need to be seen or to achieve whatever they're trying to achieve in their music and in their art. I hope I answered that question for you.
Thank you so much, Lebo. You answered me. Thank you.
Next, we have Motware Capitals. You've got your hand raised. Okay. Please unmute yourself. Sure.
Okay. Good morning, Lebo. And so my name is Shandukani, and I have a company which is in the construction and property and logistics side of the South African SMME industry. So I just wanted to ask Lebo about how can I create a marketing system to attract clients in the in both private and both in the public sector of South Africa, so that I can attract a specific client.
Thanks for your question, Motware. Shandukani. Apologies. Yeah. Thank you Great question, Shandukani. Great question, actually, because we also have a lot of businesses in Africa that are in the construction and built environment industries. And a lot of companies in those industries don't believe that there are social media platforms for them that they can use to achieve their business objectives, right? So remember, guys, with any question that you ask me, my first answer will always be, start with a strategy, right? You have to create a strategy, and your strategy comes from the Psso framework that will allow you to identify who your customer online truly is, right? And if you've got a company like a construction company, what you want to do is you want to go onto platforms where professionals exist. And for me, the biggest one is LinkedIn. You know, if you've got a business that's in construction or things like that, you want to be on LinkedIn because that's where companies are searching for people. That's where serious business people are looking for other serious business people to work with. So I would say create a LinkedIn profile and don't make it rigid, make it dynamic, you know, show what you guys are doing. I mean, LinkedIn has stories now. You can put stickers on your posts. You can add videos. There's so many things that you can do to create an immersive experience for anybody who's consuming your content and might want to work with you online. So be online, guys. And also, apart from having a LinkedIn profile, I'd also recommend that you have a website. A lot of people don't think that websites are effective digital marketing tools. They kind of see it as, okay, business card check, website check, it's performative, you know, but your website is your storefront. So you need to create a website that people actually want to go onto. And when people are searching for your website on Google, are they finding it? Is it coming up in the searches or is it further down? If it's further down, then you have to work on your search engine optimization, things like that, search engine marketing, all those kinds of things. Optimize those things, improve them. That's what it means to optimize them. And in doing that, you will be seen when people are searching for a construction company to work with. You know, on LinkedIn, when there are business people or even foundations or companies like Exaro who are looking for that, they'll find you because not only are you online, but by virtue of having a successful online existence, you're probably creating a community that talks about you because that's important, right? It's one thing to have a digital platform and be online, but you actually need people to be talking about you or talking to you and engaging on your content and on your platforms for other people to see it. If no one's engaging, it's almost like an empty shop. You know, nobody wants to work with an empty shop. Nobody wants to go into an empty shop. So you want to create these digital platforms and then you want to get engagement. You want to build communities so that when people come in, potential investors, potential clients, they're like, whoa, so many people are talking about these people. So many people are engaging in this group. I also want a piece of the action.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. So we have a question from Rufus as well. Rufus?
Hello, Sislevo. Good morning to everyone, and thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity to learn, and thanks. I'm grateful for the knowledge that Sislevo has shared with us. I'm here thinking to myself that I just need Sislevo's piece of thinking about and kind of like a situation that I'm in. So. Basically, I'm a law student who's interested in making hair products. So we've innovated a new hair product, a shampoo. Basically, we've developed a new shampoo. So I'm here thinking that because now we are going to enter into the market, what is the best strategy that we should use to make sure that people understand the uniqueness of our product, and also to ensure that we then not only portray as we are lying, but we then make people understand the uniqueness of our product, because our product is mainly about ensuring that Black people, it serves best for Black people. And I also wanted to know whether our marketing strategy of saying that this is for Black people because we want Black people to love their Black hair. So isn't that gonna be disadvantage? Is going to disadvantage us in the future? So I just wanted to know, because now we are here, we've got the product. The product is from the lab. We are now going to manufacture the product. what is the best marketing strategy, bearing in mind the kind of concept that we have so far? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question, Rufus. And you've asked a very, it's a heavy question, only because there's so much that I would need to tell you for you to get the full picture. But I'm going to try my best to give you what's most important in what you're asking me. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they do exactly what you've done. So they've got a product, they believe in it, and now they want to take it to market, but they're not too sure how. And African entrepreneurs, believe it or not, actually do struggle with this idea of, do I say that my product is for Black people? Am I being racist? Is it wrong? Is it, am I blocking myself from opportunities in the market because I'm going to say this is a product for Black people? And I think this goes down to target market, right? So a lot of the time when you create a marketing strategy, there's a part where you have to think about who your target market is. And this is your ideal customer, right? So a lot of the time when we create products or services, we think about the ideal customer. I want Bonang to be the customer for my shampoo. I want women who go to Santon to be the customer for my shampoo. Market, or when you test it in market, you realize that your real customer is a housewife in Dainfern or a housewife in Venda. You know what I mean? So I think what's important there first is, have you tested your product in the market? I think it's very important for you to test it. Just take a couple of samples of your product and test it, even if it's a group of 10 people. Test it on that target market that you wanted, and also have an extra group of women or people who you didn't think would be your target market, and just give them the product and see what their feedback is. Feedback is good, right? And also, when you're creating marketing campaigns, you do have to say who your product is for. It's not racist, it's not exclusionary, it's just business. You really have to know who your customer is. If you don't know who your customer is, how do you create the right promotional material to get them to see the product or the service, So it's okay to niche down. And niching just means being very specific and laser focused in terms of who your actual customer is or who your target market is. It's okay to niche. Niching is good. In fact, as social media becomes more noisy and more products get on social media, a lot of brands and a lot of marketers are saying niche, niche, niche. So we're saying, instead of looking for 1 million customers, find 150 who are really going to buy your product and come back for more. So it's important to think about the customer and to think about niching. And for everybody who is in Rufus's situation where they've just created a product and now they want to create a marketing strategy, remember, it's all about the people, like I said in my presentation. If there's nothing else that you understood or got from my presentation, just remember that people are at the center of this thing. What does that mean? It means that feedback is important to you as a business. It means that speaking to people, it means that understanding people, it means that going into communities, whether that's online or on the ground, going into communities and interacting with people is the most important and valuable thing that you can do for your business. A couple of years ago, I had a tech company. We sold tablets and applications, mathematics and English applications for children in rural areas and in township schools. And we had to go to those schools to test it. And when we were there testing it, we realized, okay, we actually have to fix this about our product. This is working, this is not working. This is what we have to change. And it helps us actually refine our marketing strategy and say to ourselves, okay, cool. Now that we've worked with the kids, we understand that we need to fix this and we need to do this. And now we can enter these kinds of schools because the schools we wanted to enter actually weren't the right schools, And the foundation of your marketing strategy is in those 4 Ps that I told you about: the price, the product, the promotion, and the place. It's very important for you to understand. You have to say to yourself, what is my product? Actually say, what is my product? And use that Psso framework, because it will help you communicate the value that your product has. And if you feel like you don't understand the value that your product has, use that axis that I told you guys about that has uniqueness and value, and place it there. Where does it fit in that uniqueness and value? Because you talk about how unique your product is, and a lot of entrepreneurs don't actually know how unique their product is until they test it. A lot of us think it's unique because we love it and we've made it and we feel like nobody else has made that product. But if you actually do your research and you find the solutions in that Psso framework, you realize that actually there are like 25 companies who have a similar product, And so how do I differentiate myself, which is that uniqueness we were talking about? How do I differentiate myself from all of that noise as a product? and how you differentiate yourself is what I was speaking about when I was speaking about price. And I said, features tell, benefits sell. You need to tell people the benefits of using your product. You know, what do I want? If I'm a woman who you think needs your shampoo, what do you think I want? I might want smooth hair. I might want a full hairline. I don't, you know, those are the things you need to communicate when you are trying to sell your product. Not it's made with organic ingredients, and it was founded in Limpopo, and it's mined by women who were previously unemployed. To be honest, most people don't care about that. It would be your other stakeholders who would care. So it would be your investors who would care about that. But the average customer, most of us would just care. Is this thing going to make my hair grow? Is it going to take away my dandruff? You know, tell me how the product will benefit me. I hope I helped you there a little bit, Rufus. And if you still need more, just go onto my Twitter. There are a couple of threads that I put up that go into this a little bit more.
I think just for Rufus's benefit and anyone in his position, that last line that you just said about features tell and benefits sell is one thing that must ring clear in everybody's mind. So even if you're creating a post, question yourself, am I talking about features or am I talking about benefits in this? And what effect will it create? I think then you would be on the right track in terms of putting out your content over there. See, I'm a student as well. I'm like sitting in here and I'm absorbing all of this and I'm getting all excited on everyone else's behalf. Just to manage some time there, we're just going to take one or two more questions and then we have to end the session. But that doesn't mean that we lose contact with one another. Like I said, if you share your social media handles, it's easier for us to engage with one another from then on. So I'm going to give over to Albert. If you can just unmute your microphone and then give us your input. And then after Albert, we'll take one more person and then close off.
Okay.
Albert, go ahead.
No, thanks very much. The question is just how best can we increase our deal closing ratio online? For instance, you'll find out that there are websites, and then on the websites, there will be some product this is showcased, and then you find out you post online, but then these people usually purchase, they just neglect their products or any other service that they wanted. They neglect it on the checkout point. So the only thing that I needed to know, how best can we be able to actually increase our capacity on the closing?
Thank you for your question, Albert. That's a brilliant question. And a lot of business owners who have e-commerce stores or who try to close sales online actually have that problem. And what I always tell them, which makes them very upset, right, is that you can't blame the customer for anything that they don't do on your platforms. It's your responsibility as the business person to make sure that you're creating an experience that makes sense, that's clear, that fits the customer's lived experience, and that B, you're making sure that every single touch point on your purchasing value chain actually has value and that it leads the customer to the next step, right? So if your customers aren't buying at the end, so you feel like you've done everything right, and then when it comes to the card, checkout, purchase, they don't want to do that. You have to ask yourself why they're not doing that. And a lot of websites are intelligent, so they do have listening tools where you can check how long was the other products when they decided to not purchase. How long was the entire process for them, things like that in your business that allow you to check that, And if you're seeing a common problem in your checkout, for example, on your e-commerce store, you can go on your social media platforms and ask people questions, like, what more do you want? What other products do you want to see from us? Are you enjoying this product? Ask people questions so you can get the right feedback from them. And even in your checkout, you can actually ask them, why didn't you buy? Ask people questions. I think that's the most important thing, like the feedback. You need to ask people the questions, because I can't tell you what's going wrong just from sitting here. And every single website is unique. Every single point of purchase is unique. Every single store is unique. And every company or every business has their own problems that I can't just, bundle into one thing. And it will usually stem into how digitally mature the company is, how they communicate online. What I found on the African continent especially is, we're a diverse continent. We've got many languages, many cultures. And so a lot of people find it difficult to penetrate through that. How do I speak to my ideal customer? What if one of them is Sudan? English actually really is a barrier to e-commerce online if your customers are African. And that's something you have to think about. So if you're realizing that actually my customers are people who are not originally English speaking, how am I communicating to them so that they can understand the end of this process so that they can buy, Or am I not communicating value enough for them to feel like they should buy the product at the end of the entire experience, Even small things like how long does it take for your website to load? Those kinds of things actually affect how and why a person will or won't buy. So you have to really assess your entire business and say to yourself, what are those things? But what I found usually, especially with African businesses, is it's the communication. It's the communication of value, and it's the communication with the customer. Do you know who your customer is? And do you understand what they need to hear in order to finally purchase or finally complete that order? I hope that was helpful, Albert.
That was very helpful. Yeah, thank you very much, Debbie.
Albert, another thing that you should consider doing is actually contacting the customers that drop off at that point of. So if they're not buying, and you a survey where you contact them to ask them just a small brief email that just says, hey, we noticed that you were on our website and you had these few products in the shopping cart but did not buy them. Why didn't you buy? And you will get more responses as to what will be the common problems that cause that drop-off rate. Okay, we're going to take one. Okay, there's also a poll that's coming up shortly. We'd like to know what province you are connecting from. And that is just purely for us to get some stats on our participants. I'm going to take one last question from Delia, and then we're going to hand over to Lebo to close off. Debatso, please unmute your mic.
Good morning. All right, at least everyone can hear me. So Lebo, my question to you, it's about, okay, I've started this business, it's a taxi cab business where we transport the patient to hospitals. So for instance, if you've got an appointment with a certain doctor, you book with us, then we fetch you from the gate when we leave you at the hospital and we actually wait for you. So my question to you is, how do we reach a higher market? Because ever since the COVID-19, we haven't been doing good. Yeah, so I wanted your advice on that.
Oh, Debatso, that's a hectic one as well, because I would have to comb through your business to understand exactly why you're not getting the results that you need. From what you've explained, you're a taxi cab company that transports sick people to the hospital. So basically, you're replacing the ambulance, or you're supporting the ambulances in your community, correct?
Yes, we are actually supporting the ambulances.
Yes, you're supporting them, right? So for me, I would have thought about, okay, well, we're in COVID, and COVID is all about social distancing. Hospitals are packed with people. They're trying to manage traffic going in and out. They can't respond to every single, event that happens outside because they don't have enough staff. So I would have thought about, how does my business assist the hospital in solving those problems, right? How does my business also add to social distancing? How are we helping the hospital and the country and the government help people social distance themselves whilst they're going to the hospital to get a checkup for COVID? Are you guys partnering with the hospital to take their nurses maybe to those areas to test people to see if they've got COVID instead of people having to go to hospital? So how are you guys as a vehicle company offering solutions that are actually relevant for the problems that we're facing right now during COVID? I think you've asked a very good question, because a lot of people, and that's also why I talk about the Psso framework, and why we have to assess our value as business and our uniqueness, is because when you think about COVID, you have to think differently. So you can't say, well, as a company, we've always sold ice cream, and so now we're only going to sell ice cream. It's COVID now. So people can't just eat food that's out in the open. You have to give them food that's closed in a pack or something, so that it doesn't get COVID, so people don't touch it, et cetera, et cetera. You have to rethink how your business exists. And that Psso framework, assessing your uniqueness and your value, allow you to say, maybe I need to reposition my business. Maybe I need to extend our product offering. Maybe I need to change my product offering altogether, So that example I gave you of, are you transporting nurses to those areas where there are no nurses to test people for COVID so they don't have to go to the hospital, so the hospital doesn't have too much traffic, and so that they're actually managing the spread of COVID, and I just thought of that now. Like I would have to sit with your business for a while to come up with the right solutions for you, but that is a solution. So for me, it's just about creativity. Like, don't hold on to what you started the business for. In the beginning of my presentation, I was talking about how Apple now is a pioneer in innovation and creativity. What does that mean? It means that anything that has to do with innovation and creativity, Apple can play in. They don't just have to play in computers, so you have to position your business in your own mind as well and say, what do we do? Are we the kind of business that assists communities in alleviating the spread of illnesses? It has to be a bigger why than just we transport people, because then you're limiting yourself in terms of what your business can actually do in the long term, But I think that element of your business supporting ambulances and supporting hospitals is the key. And think about traffic in hospitals. Think about the spread of COVID. Think about all the conditions that exist for COVID and how your business can help the government and hospitals, etc., meet those requirements to keep our country COVID-free.
Okay. No, thank you, sis.
Yeah.
That's actually a very exciting business that you are in, Debatso, even given in the context. I mean, I'm even thinking, as I'm listening to you talk about it, I'm thinking of people who, yes, we are living in Joburg, but, I'm not trying to do too many ups and downs to Mahikeng to go take care of a sick aunt or anything like that. But I need my aunt to be getting to hospital. If I can arrange that service on her behalf, because I personally can't get there, that would be a key. So look for people like that who are in those situations that can't travel to their family members to assist them. That might be actually the sweet spot as to how you communicate and draw a larger base of customers in it. Thank you so much, Lebo. That was a very fruitful, a very insightful session. I can tell just even from the comments that there is a lot of excitement from people. You've unlocked a lot of blockages for people is in the context of digital marketing. Is there anything that you would like to say to everyone that has participated, just as a parting shot? We're just going to wrap up the session for today, and thank you.
Thank you, Marang, for having me. Thank you, Sam. Thank you to the 67 CEOs team. And thank you, most importantly, to everyone who attended. I don't think it's easy being an entrepreneur in South Africa, and everyone who's here, who's dared to have a business, is brave and courageous, and you guys need to be celebrated. You're doing amazing. No matter where your business is, no matter what challenges you're facing, just know that you're doing amazingly. That's the first thing I want to leave people with. And secondly, guys, marketing, business, everything is about people. It's the one thing that we continuously can get to know and understand, that grows, that's dynamic, that all businesses have in common. It's people. You can't predict how the market is going to change. You can't predict what illnesses are going to come out. You can't predict what natural disasters are going to happen, but you can definitely rely on the idea that it's going to affect and impact people. So anything you do in your business should be centered around people. The value you create should be for the people. They keep your business alive. Nothing else but the people. It's all about people. So yeah, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate this platform.
Thank you so much once again. If you are looking through in your chats, Sam has posted some links to the YouTube 67 CEOs Foundation YouTube channel. That's where you'll be able to get more content and understand 67 CEOs better, watch previous videos. There is a poll that is popped up. Please answer this poll. Like I said, it's just purely for statistics purposes. We are interested to find out where our participants are actually logging in from. It's really just up for like the next 2 minutes. So it's a quick indicator as to which province you're in. It doesn't tell us your name. So if you're thinking that we are going to come spy on you or stalk you at your home or your business, that is not the point. So please be at ease. We've only got like 54% of the votes. We'd like to see 100% of the audience voting. This is quite important. And also our partners would like, Exaro would like to know this kind of information. This would help us know where else to reach out to, especially with the pitch contests. While I'm there, just a reminder, the next 2 days is going to be masterclasses. So today we've had the digital marketing. Tomorrow we've got Vusi Tembekwayo coming in to speak about specifically the business model and you pivoting your business model in a digitized environment. So looking forward to that myself. Then on Wednesday, after the masterclass with York, then the competition opens, right? So anyone from Limpopo and Mpumalanga, please make sure you submit your 2-minute video pitch. We would like to see winners. We would not like to just sit there and only have 5 entries. We would like, and Mpumalanga and Limpopo have been very active in this regard, especially when it comes to the events that we've held with Exaro. So I don't expect to, I really expect to see much more of an activity versus a drop. So make sure you put in your pitch videos, 200,000, your share of 200,000 up for grabs. Easy money, that's what I call it. I mean, if you can pitch and you can win money from it, that is easy money because that means you can pitch and get a sale. Right? And that's the key function of being able to pitch. If you can pitch and win easy money, you can pitch and do great sales. So please come out in your numbers, submit your entries. Remember to tag at 67 CEOs in all of your entries. Remember to use the hashtags, hashtag 67 CEOs GEW 2020, hashtag powering possibility. I'm now going to hand over to Sam to do your last words of thanks. How about you guys? The last 30% of you that are not, can you just tell us where you're from? That's all. Free State, Eastern Cape, nobody's here. Northern Cape, Northwest. Yes, now we've got 76% of the votes. Come on. All it is just you telling us where you're from. It can't be that bad. We want to know where else to push some money. Yeah, channel some money to you. Sam, over to you.
Thank you so much, Marang. And I would like to especially thank Lebo for an amazing, amazing presentation. That's absolutely invaluable and very value-adding and relevant, I must say, very relevant to the entrepreneurship development and also for SMMEs to know what it takes for them to be able to take their business online when it comes to digital marketing. And most especially being able to reach markets beyond their local communities, because it is very key. And what I mean by that is, and you mentioned it earlier, Lebo, that SMMEs in South Africa should also endeavor to look into the African continent. We are 1-something billion in Africa. There is just 50-something million of us, 60 million of us here in South Africa. So, dear fellow entrepreneurs, please endeavor to take action with what you've learned and implement them, because that is what is going to prove that you truly participate in this Global Entrepreneurship Week and you are ready to implement what you've learned. And for us also, we are waiting for your testimonials on how you are going to implement what you've learned and the impact of it. I think it was, there's an author that's made an analogy about information, that when you get an information, implement it immediately. Otherwise, in the next few hours or days, it becomes a thin air, meaning it evaporates. So it is key that what you have learned today, if you truly an active business owner, start implementing them. Having said that, I would like to truly and sincerely appreciate every single business owner that has joined us today. Tomorrow is the second day. We are here until Friday. And as our Honorable Program Director has announced earlier, SMMEs in Limpopo and Mpumalanga, get ready. From Wednesday, we want to see you start submitting your pitches online on your social media platform and tag the relevant handles and the hashtags that are relevant. Thank you very much, guys. And we will see you tomorrow. Go well, implement, and, and very key, I must re-emphasize rather, feature tells, benefits sells. Feature tells, benefits sells. So if you didn't get anything, take that home and start implementing. Thank you very much, guys. We are very honored to have you, and see you all tomorrow.